So after the previous video, I kind of realized that I probably should tackle the topic of psychedelics. Um, in the previous video, I was arguing that because people use psychedelics, they started to question the nature of reality, and that brought them, because their toolbox was consciousness and into based like naive intuitions. It brought them to believe in things like source consciousness and oneness. Um, and that's kind of understandable. Uh, if you live your life assuming that reality, wakeful reality exists, wakeful physical reality exists, and it is the thing that causes you to experience what you experience, and it is the thing that's controlling your consciousness, and then you take a psychedelic, and then you perceive a different reality, and then assume, yeah, that you use that same intuition and say, yeah, that other thing, that's real too, and then you start to build like some kind of mythology, or I don't know how we want to call it, about what the nature of reality really is, based on like combination of like the hallucinate the reality and the wakeful reality, and how you merge them together into a big story about fantastic stuff. And it doesn't help that while under the influence you may actually encounter entities that you interact with. Now, the theory doesn't find much theoretical, a lot of theoretical stuff to explore for psychedelics. It finds some usages for it in order to confirm the theory, and there are some applications of psychedelics in skewing. Well, it's a theoretical application in skewing physics, in creating an identification skewing physics for a small amount of people, temporarily, or a great amount of people. But in general, the free everything that you can learn about the true nature of reality, or the true nature of reality as far as the theory assumes it is. Who knows what's true? Nothing has been proven. This is you can get to the same conclusions by analyzing dreams, or analyzing physics and what we know all about physics and the observer effect and stuff like that. Yeah, the theory doesn't really need psychedelics for that, and definitely if you have also like, if you exclude, say, alcohol from psychedelics, then you can even explain even more, and you really don't need to get to psychedelics. But still, what happens during a how do psychedelics affect us, according to the theory? Well, it's pretty obvious that what a psychedelic is a physical compound, like a substance, right? Either a chemical or even biological, but it's physical. And when it affects, when under the influence, it's obvious that what happens here is the causation of the physical over the mental, right? That's the problem statement, basically. So notice that this is the very idea of a psychedelic makes it forces you to if you presume physicalism, to assume that consciousness, the mental is secondary to the physical, because that the psychedelic was instigated physically. The psychedelic experience was instigated physically. Well, according to the theory, this is wrong. This is a wrong interpretation of what's going on. It is not that that wakeful reality is more real than reality under the influence of a psychedelic. It says that neither of them are real. It's not a reality. It's a perception of a reality. It's an interpretation, an experiential interpretation of the objective subject it reflects on. But that impression doesn't map to something that actually exists. There is no wakeful reality. That wakeful reality is just a concoction, just a fabrication. Uh, the tables and chairs, the forms that you perceive, they are experiential. All the things that you identify, the shapes, all of that exists only in experience. There's nothing in the objective substrate that forces the objective substrate to appear as a specific form. It is experience's interpretation of it, and so there is no physical wakeful world, and there is no hallucinated world. It's just not a world. It's just a semantic, and it's not and this is not a semantic. This is like ontologically, there is no thing that is the wakeful world. There is no thing that hallucinated world. But how does the psychedelic effect work? Well, you need to remember what the body is. The body exists, or the corporeal body, or your existence in a body that appears corporeal, is basically some kind of an entrapment of experience to refract into a specific selection of possibilities that where the body persists. It's not. This is what evolution basically created. It entrapped experience, and what happens then? Experience is kind of like tunnel visioned into staying in the bodily sandbox, the corporeal bodily sandbox, and not try to be anything, to go anywhere other than what the body allows it. You don't know all the ways that you're entrapped in it, but you are entrapped in it, and it's not a real entrapment, and you can get away from it. And this is what happens during psychedelic. When you take a psychedelic, you have the tunnel vision. It works as long as the body works properly. You take a psychedelic, you messed up the body. You can mess up the body in many ways, but a psychedelic messes this thing, and it cracks. All the thing that ensures that you stay in the sandbox are cracked, and then you start to perceive things that, well, they are not evolutionary viable. Like, for example, you perceive that you can fly, and then you jump from a building and die. So it's not evolutionary viable. If you perceive entities, well, you might just as well be perceiving your parapeers, the experiential agents that share your avatar in the Wakeful Commons. I made videos about that. Or you can even meet your distributed parapeer, the distributed parapeer that affects you, what you call God, but is not omnipotent. And I made that video about that previously. Or that oneness in which might be identified, is basically another distributed parapeer identifying itself as everything, but it's not. Well, it can be anything, but it's not real. In the same way, a dream is not real, or it's not. There's nothing to learn about it doesn't show you anything about the objective substrate and the possibilities of what you can experience. Well, again, you can get that in dreams, and you can get that in. It can give you inspiration. That's fine, and you might enjoy it. And I don't see why you should stop doing that. And maybe it will teach you something about yourself. So fine, but great. But this is not a doorway or a gateway to realizing how reality is organized. Because when you are under the influence, all you're perceiving is the concoction. You don't get to actually perceive the objective substrate, and nothing tells you that everything that you perceive is fictitious, and that all experience is fundamental, and that thing that you call consciousness or mind, it's all. You just don't get these intuitions from a psychedelic. So entertainment, introspection, all fine, but to reach understanding about the metaphysics, not really.